This is Daily Rock News, October 17th, 2025. My name is Alex Goff. I'm a rock musician. I post about my projects and rock news and guitar tips and tricks. So if any of that interests you, or if you would just like to support a local artist, please consider subscribing, following. Don't forget to like this video and comment. We're going to dedicate this whole show to rest in peace, Ace Frehley. Sorry to say the news, but it's true. Ace Frehley, shockingly, has announced he passed away. It was kind of a surprise to us all. Apparently, he had a light fall a few weeks ago, and he was okay. They did have to reschedule some shows, but he just needed to heal. And then he had a second fall, and that was the problem. I guess he's been in rough condition ever since then. That's all according to Eddie Trunk. So this is a special episode where I just want to kind of walk you through, talk about Ace's life here. So sit back and enjoy this. I don't know if it'll just be a movie playing in your head. Paul Daniel Ace Frehley came into the world April 27th, 1951, in the Bronx, New York, the youngest of three in a musical working-class family. His dad, Carl, was the son of Dutch immigrants from Pennsylvania, and his mother, Esther, was a Southern-born German-American from North Carolina. Music was always in the air. His parents both played piano. His dad even served as a church organist. His brother and sister picked up piano and acoustic guitar also. When Ace unwrapped his first electric guitar on Christmas Day in 1964, that was it. He was hooked. No lessons, no formal training, just pure obsession. He taught himself by ear, cranking up records by Jimi Hendrix, Jeff Beck, B.B. King, Albert Lee, Buddy Guy, Led Zeppelin, The Stones, and The Who, soaking in everything that made rock electric. But before the music was over, Ace's path was rocky. He bounced around schools, got expelled more than once, and eventually dropped out. At 13, he joined a local street gang for protection, but his attention shifted once that guitar entered his hands. Rock and roll became his escape route, the thing that pulled him away from the streets and into the stars. Somewhere in that wild Bronx chapter, he earned the nickname Ace because, as his friends would put it, he was a real ace when it came to getting dates. Little did they know, that same kid would one day shoot sparks out of a Les Paul and take rock guitar to another galaxy. Ace Frehley spent the early 70s grinding it out in New York local bands. One of them called Malimo, which actually got as far as recording half an album for RCA in 1971. Then one day in late 1972, a friend showed him an ad in the Village Voice looking for a lead guitarist. Ace showed up to the audition at 10 East 23rd Street. One red sneaker, one orange, and plugged in for Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, and Peter Criss. He didn't exactly look the part, but when he started playing, they knew. 3 weeks later, he was in the band. By early 1973, they had a name, Kiss. Ace designed the lightning bolt himself, which Paul cleaned up a little, and the band decided to go all in on the makeup. Ace started painting silver stars on his eyes and took on the Space Ace persona, inspired by his love of sci-fi and outer space. While the band was rehearsing in empty clubs and hustling gigs, Ace paid bills by driving a cab until manager Bill Aucoin started them on a $50 a week salary in 1973. Kiss dropped their debut album in February 1974, with Ace writing Cold Gin and Love Theme for Kiss. He didn't sing at first. He wasn't confident in his voice, so Gene handled vocals on Cold Gin. But by 1977's Love Gun, Ace stepped up to the mic for Shock Me, written after he nearly electrocuted on stage in Florida. That song became an instant fan favorite, and his smoking, screaming Les Paul solos made him one of the most influential guitarists of the decade. In 1978, Kiss gave each member their own record, and Aces blew the others out of the water, going platinum and landing a top 20 hit with New York Groove. His songwriting took off after that, contributing heavily to Dynasty in 1979, Unmasked in 1980, which exploded in Australia even as the US cooled off. Around the same time, someone literally named a star after him, fitting for the Spaceman. But as the band's sound shifted, Ace grew frustrated. Peter Criss was gone. The decisions were coming down to 2-1 against him. He didn't connect with producer Bob Ezrin's concept album direction on Music from the Elder, 1981, and his parts were mostly cut. Though his face was still on Killers and Creatures of the Night, he barely played on them, and by the time Kiss hit the road, he was out. Ace officially split in late 1982, but kept his ownership stake in Kiss until 1985, meaning he still earned from Lick It Up and Animalize despite not being involved. After taking a break, he launched Frehley's Comet in 1984 with Anton Fig on drums, John Regan on bass, Richie Scarlett on guitar, and Arthur Stead on keys. They played their first shows around New York before signing with Megaforce Records and releasing their debut in 1987, a comeback that hit number 43 on the Billboard charts with the single Into the Night, and MTV Play for Rock Soldiers, a wild song about Ace's real-life police chase in a DeLorean. Frehley's Comet showed promise but couldn't hold momentum. Second Sighting, 1988, and the live EP, Live Plus One, didn't chart high. And by 1989, Ace dropped the band name, releasing Trouble Walkin' under his own. The album featured Peter Criss, Sebastian Bach, and members of Skid Row, a reunion of sorts, but sales were modest. After the tour wrapped in 1990, Ace disappeared from the stage for a couple of years before re-emerging stronger than ever. The wild kid from the Bronx had gone from cab driver to cosmic icon, spaceman who helped redefine what a rock guitarist could be. Let's talk about now. So that was a really good recap of Ace's career before the band reunited, which is when things get really exciting. Okay, here's the last stretch. In 1996, Ace Frehley reunited with Kiss for one of rock's biggest comebacks. All 4 original members back together for a massive world tour. It was the first time since 1980 that the classic lineup had shared the stage, and the shows were electric. The band followed it up with a new album, Psycho Circus, in 1998, though years later it came out that Ace and Peter Criss barely played on it. Ace's one full contribution, Into the Void, was the only track to feature all 4 originals, and it became his last Kiss song until his solo return. In the so-called farewell tour in 2001, Ace officially left again, playing one time with Kiss at the closing ceremony in the 2002 Winter Olympics. Then he went back to doing what he does best, being Ace. He kept a lower profile through the 2000s, but popped up in legendary moments like shredding God of Thunder with Rob Zombie, Slash, Scott Ian, Ghibli Clark, and Tommy Lee at the 2006 VH1 Rock Honors. He kept the fire burning through albums like Anomaly in 2009, Space Invader 2014, Spaceman in 2018, and the Origins cover series that celebrated the music that made him. In 2018, Ace and Bruce Kulick reunited with Kiss on the Kiss Cruise, jamming 2000 Man, New York Groove, and Rock and Roll All Night, the first time sharing a stage since 2002. Though fans hoped Ace would rejoin for the band's final tour in 2019, it didn't happen. He turned down the invitation, saying he wasn't going to come back under Kiss's terms. As the band wound down, talk turned to legacy. Netflix began work on a biopic, Shout It Out Loud, set for 2026, and A&E aired the two-part documentary biography Kisstory. Gene Simmons claimed he invited Ace and Peter to participate, but they refused unless they could control the edit. Despite the back and forth, Ace stayed active. He played festivals like Creatures Fest alongside Chris, Vinnie Vincent, and Bruce Kulick, keeping that original Kiss spirit alive for the fans. In 2024, Ace released 10,000 Volts, which hit number 72 on the Billboard 200 and topped multiple charts, proving the Spaceman still had plenty of power left. Now with Origins Volume 3 on its way in 2025, Ace Frehley continues to do what he's always done: play loud, stay true, and keep rock and roll orbiting somewhere between Earth and the stars. Now, unfortunately, Wikipedia on September 25th, Frehley fell in his home studio twice, was forced to cancel upcoming tour dates. On October 16th, TMZ reported he had been on life support and a ventilator due to brain bleeding caused by his fall. They reported his family considered removing him from life support after his health failed to improve. Frehley died several hours later, Morristown, New Jersey, at the age of 74. Yeah, and he released his autobiography, No Regrets, which is an incredible book, and I highly recommend it if you are interested in Ace Frehley. I'm going to touch on what each of the Kiss members have said. Paul Stanley: I remember 1974 being in my room, the Hyatt on Sunset in LA, and I heard someone playing deep and fiery guitar in the room next door. I thought, boy, I wish that guy was in the band. I looked over the balcony. He was. It was Ace. This is my favorite photo of us. And I can't or can I show it? What if I just drag it right on the screen? Will that work? Oh, hey, can you see it? Oh my gosh. Whoa. I didn't realize it would work like that. Wow. So I can just drag the photo on the screen. So if you can see my screen right now, that's the photo that Paul shared about Ace and says is Paul's favorite photo of them. Now, can I delete this, or is it just there? I'll just leave it there. Then Gene says, our hearts are broken. Ace has passed on. No one can touch Ace's legacy. I know he loved the fans. He told me many times. Sadder still, Ace didn't live long enough to be honored at the Kennedy Center Honors in December. Ace was the eternal rock soldier. Long may his legacy live on. Yeah, that's too bad that they're doing that big event. Ace won't be able to go. Peter Chris: I'm shocked, my friend, I love you. But then I think he also had a longer... Let's see. Peter Chris on Ace Frehley. With a broken heart and deep, deep sadness, my brother Ace Frehley has passed away. He died peacefully with his family around him. My wife and I were with him to the end as well. I love you, my brother. My love and prayers go out to Jeanette, Monique, Charlie, and Nancy, and all of Ace's extended family, bandmates, fans, and friends. May the Lord comfort you at this difficult time. As a founding member of the rock group Kiss and an Ace solo career, Ace influenced and touched the hearts of millions of people. His legacy will live on in the music industry and the hearts of the Kiss Army. At this time, I ask all of you, to please be respectful to Ace's family and allow them to grieve privately. To the Kiss Army and Ace's rock soldiers, my heart is with you all. Broken. God bless, Peter Chris. Yeah, my personal note to Ace or on Ace is that I got to meet him a couple years ago in the trailer after his Austin show. I did the VIP thing, and he signed a few things, and I basically told him, like, I'm a young rocker. Do you have any advice? And he said something along the lines of, he kept it simple. He just said, you have to stay persistent or perseverance. Whatever he said, it was like a one-sentence thing. And it's so true. There's no better advice, because if you get any more specific, then it's not for you. That truly is the general advice that works. So rest in peace to Ace Frehley. And yeah, let me say one last thing. He is such a big player for such a big band. That's why this is such a big deal for me right now. This isn't a random player. This isn't a random band. This is Kiss, and it's their lead guitarist. He was so innovative throughout the years. He had built-in fireworks in his guitars, the spark spinners, the smoke machine coming out of the bridge. The guitar would light up during New York Groove. He was like an engineer, an electrical engineer, and he really used his knowledge to make an amazing experience. So, yeah, rest in peace, Ace, and thanks everybody for watching. Subscribe to stay up to date with the latest news, and see you tomorrow.